The stars were calm that night, far above Earth, as the International Deep Space Listening Post floated in silence. Commander Reyna Torres sipped her coffee, half asleep, staring at the blank screen in front of her. For months, the station had picked up nothing unusual, just background radiation, echoes of dying stars, and the soft static of empty space. But at exactly 3:17 a.m., everything changed. The screen blinked once, then turned black. A strange, pulsing symbol appeared, a circle with jagged lines through it. And then a voice spoke. It wasn't human. It didn't even sound like anything from Earth. The voice was deep, cold, and full of confidence. "This is a transmission from the Galactic Union. Your planet, Earth, has been classified as a primitive species. As of now, you are under the protection and control of the Union. Surrender peacefully. Resistance will be erased." Reyna dropped her coffee. It shattered on the floor, but she barely noticed. Her hands moved fast over the console, saving the message and alerting Earth Command. The rest of the crew rushed into the room, faces pale as they listened to the message replay over and over. The voice didn't sound angry. It sounded bored, as if Earth wasn't even worth a real fight. Back on Earth, within minutes, world leaders were pulled from their beds. Presidents, generals, scientists, all sat in the United Nations emergency room as the message played again. No one knew who the Galactic Union was. No ship had been seen. No warning had come. Just a voice in the dark telling humanity to surrender like sheep. General Marcus Hayes, the head of Earth's defense network, stood slowly. He looked around the room and spoke in a calm, low voice. "They think we're weak. They think we'll just roll over. They don't know what kind of species they're talking to." In a secret military base deep under the Rockies, scientists tried to trace the signal. It had come from outside the solar system, far beyond Mars, from somewhere near the edge of human exploration. But there was no ship visible, no heat signature, nothing. It was like the voice had come from a ghost in space. Meanwhile, across the world, the message spread like wildfire. News channels reported it. People panicked. Some thought it was a prank. Others were terrified. Social media exploded. Hashtags like #AlienSurrender and #WeAreNotAlone filled every screen. But the real fear came from the silence that followed. After that one message, the aliens said nothing else. In Japan, a group of university students watched the message in silence. One of them, a computer hacker named Kenji, turned to his friend and said, "They made a big mistake. They don't know humans." His friend laughed nervously, but Kenji wasn't joking. He was already searching the dark web, looking for military signals and chatter. What he found scared him more than the alien voice. Earth's militaries weren't just confused. They were preparing for war. On a quiet farm in Kansas, an old man named George sat on his porch with his shotgun beside him. He watched the stars and whispered, "Let them come." He had served in 3 wars. He had seen fear before. But this was different. This was personal. These aliens had never stepped on Earth, but they had already insulted every human soul. They had called Earth primitive. That one word burned in the hearts of billions. In space, high above the moon, Earth's secret weapon, Project Hellfire, was silently activated. It was a weapon no one had wanted to use. Not even Earth's own people knew it existed. But now, quiet hands moved over its controls. Just in case. 3 days passed. No new messages came. Then, just as the world began to calm down, dozens of small black ships appeared near Pluto. They didn't answer hails. They didn't explain themselves. They just waited, silent, watching, like vultures waiting for a meal. The president of Earth's Defense Council stood in front of cameras and made a short speech. "We are not surrendering," she said. "Earth will not kneel to any force that tries to take our freedom. We didn't survive ice ages, wars, and disasters to be ruled by a voice in the dark." In the darkness of space, Aboard one of the alien ships, a creature named Zorith watched the human newsfeed. He blinked his cold, green eyes and smiled. "They are slower than we thought," he said to his crew. "Still, let them believe they have a chance. It will make their defeat more educational." But Zorith didn't know what Earth was really like. He didn't understand that humans were not just clever or stubborn. They were dangerous, not because of their weapons, not because of their numbers, but because they never gave up, no matter what. That night, as the stars blinked quietly above, Earth didn't sleep. Somewhere deep in the silence, something had changed. Humanity was no longer alone. And whoever had sent that message was about to learn the hardest lesson in the universe. Never threaten a species that has nothing left to fear. The black alien ships stayed near Pluto like shadows that refused to move. Silent, dark, and cold, they just floated there, watching. Earth scientists and military experts stared at the screens every hour, waiting for something, anything. But the ships did not speak. They didn't attack. They didn't move closer. They just watched. On the ground, people were getting tired of waiting. News reporters called it the Cold War in space. But General Marcus Hayes didn't think it was cold. He thought it was boiling, just below the surface. He stood in the Earth Defense Headquarters, looking at the digital map of the solar system, his arms crossed. "They're testing us," he said to his top officers. "They want to see how we react. They're checking if we're scared." A young officer, nervous but brave, asked quietly, "What if we show them we're not?" Hayes smiled a little. "That's the plan." In low Earth orbit, Earth's space fleet was preparing. Ships that were once secret were now floating openly, moving into positions like chess pieces before a big game. These weren't small satellites. These were warships, silent giants with thick armor and new weapons. Most of the world didn't even know they existed, until now. The UN allowed a small leak to the public. Just a little video of one of the ships turning slowly in space, showing its guns. The video went viral. People stopped panicking. They started cheering. Hashtags changed from hashtag #WeAreNotAlone to hashtag #ComeInJidit. On Mars, the small human colony there was ordered to go silent. No signals. No lights. Nothing. The Martian base was underground, protected, but it was still a risk. If the aliens attacked, it might be the first target. Deep inside Earth's Defense Council chamber, the president met with scientists and military leaders. "What do we know about them?" she asked. One scientist, Dr. Ilara Mendez, answered carefully. "Their tech is more advanced, yes, but not by centuries. Maybe decades. The real danger is their psychology. They act like conquerors. They expect others to kneel without a fight. That means they don't understand resistance. And that," General Hayes added, "is our advantage." Back near Pluto, the alien ships finally moved, just a little, like snakes stretching. A signal followed. It was the same voice again. Cold, calm, superior. "You have ignored our first command. Final notice. Surrender your planet, or face cleansing." Cleansing. That word sent a chill through everyone who heard it. There was no misunderstanding, no confusion. The aliens weren't asking for peace. They were planning to wipe Earth clean. But Earth didn't reply with fear. Instead, Project Hellfire sent a signal of its own, a sharp, clear pulse aimed right at the alien fleet. It wasn't a weapon. It was a message. One line. "Try it." The moment that message reached the alien ships, one of them blinked out of existence. Not exploded, just vanished. Everyone on Earth thought it had been destroyed. But in truth, it had jumped back through a wormhole. The captain of that ship, Zorith, wasn't afraid. He was curious. "These humans are bold," he told his crew. "But boldness is not strength." Back on Earth, Reina Torres was assigned to lead a team of communication experts. Their job was to break into the alien language, try to understand how they think. It wasn't easy. The aliens used a mix of sound and emotion, like music with hidden meaning. But Reyna found something strange, a phrase that appeared over and over in their message logs. Species 1729. Unusually aggressive. Use caution. That was Earth. To the aliens, humans were just number 1729. And even with all their power, the aliens had marked humans as unusually aggressive. It meant they were worried. It meant they knew something. Reyna stood in front of the council and said, "They've studied us. They expected some resistance, but not this much. Not this fast. We've surprised them. We need to keep surprising them." Meanwhile, Earth's underground labs were waking up old projects, things that had been too dangerous to test before. One of them was called Goliath, a human-piloted battle platform the size of a small building. Only one had ever been built. Now it was being pulled from storage, piece by piece, reassembled in silence. The pilot, a man named Dax Morrow, ex-Special Forces, decorated, broken. He had lost his family in the Mars quake years ago. Now he had nothing left but rage. And Goliath was the perfect machine for someone with rage. "They picked the wrong species," he said quietly as he climbed into the cockpit. "We don't run, we fight." His countdown had started, not for attack, but for defense. Earth wasn't going to shoot first, but it was ready if it had to. Every missile, every cannon, every warship, locked, loaded, waiting. Above them, the alien ships turned slightly, facing Earth's direction like wolves sniffing prey. The stars looked peaceful, but the quiet was fake. It was the kind of silence that came before a storm. The most dangerous part, Earth hadn't even shown its real strength yet. And when it did, the galaxy would never be the same. The stars were quiet, but Earth was not. Below the surface, in secret bunkers and old bases, soldiers prepared in silence. Scientists worked without rest. Satellites moved quietly into new positions. Everything looked calm on the outside, but something powerful was building inside Earth, like a volcano waiting to explode. General Hayes stood on the command deck of Earth Defense Command, watching the screen. More alien ships had arrived. 5 more, big and dark like floating mountains. They didn't hide anymore. They wanted Earth to see them. It was a message. "We are not afraid of you." But General Hayes only smirked. He turned to his second in command. "Good. Let them gather. Makes the strike easier." Meanwhile, in the orbital shipyard above Earth, the massive warship Titan was finally complete. It was the largest human-built ship in history, longer than 5 football fields, with armor as thick as bunkers. It had weapons designed not for defense, but for war. And now it had a captain, Commander Lena Ashford. She had served in silence for 20 years. She had fought pirates on Mars, defended colonies near Saturn, and survived ambushes in the asteroid belt. She never smiled. She never spoke more than needed. But when she walked into Titan, the crew stood taller. They knew what kind of person she was, the kind who never lost. "We do not shoot first," she told her crew. "But if they fire once, we erase them." On the moon, a special team trained for one mission: infiltration. They were called ghost units, humans trained to survive in the vacuum of space, in alien environments, with stealth suits and weapons the world had never seen. They didn't speak much. They didn't appear on news, but they were ready to board alien ships if needed, and fight from the inside. At the same time, back on Earth, Reyna Torres was still studying the alien language. She had found something new, hidden in their transmissions. A single word that repeated many times. Cycle. She didn't understand at first, but then it hit her. The aliens had done this before. Many times. Earth wasn't their first target. It was just the next planet in a long list. They would show up, ask for surrender, and if the answer was no, they would destroy everything. "They're not just conquerors," she said to the council. "They're exterminators." But this time, Something was different. This time, the prey didn't run. It prepared to bite back. High above, the alien ships began moving. Slowly at first, then faster. They formed a long line facing Earth. Their weapon systems glowed faintly. In the sky, something shifted. The air felt heavier. The stars almost seemed to dim. Then came the signal. It wasn't words this time. It was energy. A massive pulse that jammed half of Earth's satellites. The aliens weren't talking anymore. They were done waiting. In response, Earth launched a warning shot. From the Titan, a kinetic rod was fired. No explosion, no radiation, just a solid metal spear moving faster than sound. It hit one of the alien scout ships near Pluto. The scout ship vanished in a flash of light. Everyone on Earth waited for the alien reply. It came in the form of weapons fire. 2 alien cruisers fired beams of energy at the moon base. The beams cut deep, slicing into the rock like hot knives. Alarms screamed. People ran. One section of the base collapsed, but the core of the base held strong. The humans inside didn't cry. They got up, put on their suits, and prepared for war. From Earth, the order was given: engage. Now it was no longer a game of waiting. Now it was war. The Titan moved forward with its fleet. Hundreds of human ships followed, some small and fast, others huge and powerful. They flew together like a swarm of metal wasps heading into the fire. The sky above Earth turned red with engine trails. Dax Morrow, inside the Goliath mech, stood ready in orbit. His eyes were cold, his voice calm. Let's remind them why they should have left us alone. The alien fleet met the humans near Mars. It was the biggest space battle in human history. Missiles flew like angry comets. Energy beams crossed like lightning. Ships exploded into balls of fire and metal. But something shocked the aliens. The humans didn't run. Even small ships attacked bigger alien cruisers head-on. When one fell, 2 more charged in. In space, there is no sound, but if there was, it would be the sound of Earth's fury. Reyna watched it all from command. Her hands shook, but her eyes were clear. "This isn't just defense," she whispered. "This is payback." The aliens had expected fear. What they got was rage. Focused, cold, human rage. And in the middle of it all, Earth's fleets pushed forward, through fire and death, screaming without sound. "You came to conquer. You will leave in pieces." The war had truly begun, and the most dangerous species in the galaxy was wide awake. Space burned with war. Ships on both sides exploded like silent fireworks in the dark sky. The human fleet had been smaller, but it fought with something the aliens didn't understand: desperation, fury, and the need to survive. Each human ship, no matter how damaged, kept pushing forward. Earth was behind them. There was no retreat. On board the warship Titan, Commander Lena Ashford watched the battlefield from her command chair. Her face was cold, but her eyes moved fast. Target their center. Break their line. We push through. The alien fleet was strong. Thousands of ships, each bigger and more advanced. But they had a weakness. They didn't expect chaos. They didn't understand the human way of fighting. When things broke, humans didn't stop. They adapted. When leaders fell, others stepped up. They turned loss into fuel. In the middle of the fight, the Ghost Unit made their move. Silent as shadows, they flew through the wreckage in small stealth pods. The alien ships never saw them coming. One by one, the ghosts landed on the enemy ships and cut their way inside. What happened next was quiet and deadly. Inside one alien command ship, a ghost soldier named Malik crept through dark halls with a knife in hand. No guns, no noise, just shadows. He had trained for this his whole life. When an alien officer turned the corner, Malik moved like wind, fast and silent. The alien dropped before it could even make a sound. The humans didn't just want to win the battle. They wanted to learn. Every alien system, The ghosts touched was recorded, copied, sent back to Earth. They were stealing the enemy's secrets, even in the middle of war. Back on Earth, Reyna Torres stared at the data streaming in from the ghosts. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. The aliens were using an ancient system, a machine mind that had taken over most of their decisions. It wasn't just war. It was automation, cold logic, no feeling, no instinct. They don't think like us, Reyna whispered. They follow patterns. But we're unpredictable. In space, the battle grew worse. Dozens of human ships were gone, but so were hundreds of alien ships. The aliens began to pull back, shocked that Earth hadn't broken yet. They regrouped near their mothership, a massive beast the size of a city. It was their command core, and it hadn't moved once. Commander Ashford saw it on the screen. That's the heart. If we take it, they fall. But getting close would be suicide, unless someone did the impossible. That's when Dax Morrow, piloting the Goliath mech, made his call. I'll go in. Everyone went silent. The Goliath wasn't just a mech. It was the most powerful single weapon Earth had. But it was meant for defense, not offense. Flying it into the center of the alien fleet was madness. But Dax didn't blink. He launched forward, engines screaming, tearing through space like a missile. Alien ships turned to stop him. Too late. He was already inside. Lasers hit him. Missiles followed. But the Goliath was built like a planet. It kept moving, even as armor broke and fire poured from its limbs. Inside the cockpit, Dax's face was soaked with sweat. His breathing was slow, focused. He fired everything. Railguns, missiles, shockwaves. The path to the alien mothership opened like a bleeding wound. The Titan saw the opening and moved in. The final part of the battle had begun. The alien mothership didn't speak. It didn't warn. It just charged its main cannon. A blast big enough to destroy half a continent. But Earth was ready. Commander Ashford gave the final order. Fire all weapons. Every gun on the Titan let loose. A wall of energy, metal, and fury rushed forward. At the same time, the ghost units planted charges inside the alien ship. Everything happened in seconds. And then, silence. The alien mothership exploded. A fireball larger than anything seen before lit up the black sky. The remaining alien ships froze. Some tried to fight. Some tried to run. But Earth wasn't finished. From every angle, human ships chased them down. No mercy. No peace. Only fire. Within minutes, the battle was over. Earth had won. But it wasn't over. Reyna looked at the alien messages still coming in. The word cycle showed up again, followed by another word, reset. She didn't understand. Not yet. But deep inside, something felt wrong. The battle had ended. But the war, whatever it truly was, had only just begun. The stars were quiet again, but the silence felt different this time. Earth had won the battle, but it wasn't a victory they could celebrate. The alien fleet had been shattered, but the real threat remained hidden. Reyna Torres stared at the data on her screen, eyes narrowed, trying to make sense of what she had seen. Reset. The word kept appearing in the alien transmissions over and over. The word was too important to ignore. Something was happening, something bigger than just one fight. The aliens might have lost this battle, but it felt like they were preparing for something far worse. In the command center, General Hayes watched the final reports. The alien fleet was retreating, but they weren't gone. No, they were simply pulling back to regroup. The Titan had destroyed their mothership, but Hayes knew that wasn't enough to stop them for good. General, said a quiet voice from behind him. It was Reyna. She had been working non-stop since the battle, analyzing the alien data. He turned to face her. What is it? Reyna's eyes were filled with concern. I've cracked part of their language. It's a warning and a threat. They're not the first to try and conquer humanity. Hayes frowned. What are you talking about? Reyna looked over her shoulder, making sure no one was listening. She spoke quietly, as though the words themselves might bring doom. The aliens have been searching for something or someone. They'd been doing this for centuries. Every planet they invade, they use the same system. They're not just attacking civilizations. They're looking for something specific, like a resource. Hayes asked, but Reyna shook her head. No, they're searching for a signal, an ancient signal. It's tied to Earth and to humans. The reset, the word they keep repeating, isn't about retreat. It's about restarting something. Something old. Something terrifying. General Hayes had fought wars before. He had seen people die, seen entire cities fall. But this felt different. He glanced out the window, as if expecting the stars to give him an answer. What is it, Reyna? Reyna hesitated. I think they've made a mistake. A big one. Before she could explain further, alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the room. Something was coming. On the screen in front of them, a new alien fleet appeared, larger than anything they had seen before. It wasn't just a few ships. It was thousands, filling the skies in an endless sea of metal. They were advancing fast, but something was different. These ships weren't like the ones before. They were darker, as if they had been designed to face humanity's rage head-on. Hayes clenched his fists. This is it. This is what they've been preparing for. Reyna quickly pulled up new data. The reset isn't just a message. It's a signal that activates something. They're unlocking something old, something deep beneath the surface of Earth. The signal, Hayes muttered. It's calling to them. Yes, Reyna said, and it's calling to something else too. In that moment, a wave of cold dread washed over the room. Something powerful, something ancient, was waking up. And it wasn't just the aliens who were after it. The very planet itself seemed to be pulling them all toward it. The Titan was on alert, its crew preparing for battle once more. But this time, the aliens were not the only threat. Reyna's words echoed in the room. They've unlocked something. It's going to change everything. The aliens were no longer just invaders. They were afraid. Afraid of what humanity was about to unleash. On the surface of Earth, a hidden facility, long buried and forgotten, began to hum with life. Deep in the Earth, something stirred. It had waited for centuries, buried under layers of rock and soil. It had been lost to time. Now, as the aliens came closer, as Earth's ancient signal reached the stars, the machine beneath the planet began to awaken. Hayes knew this was bigger than anything they had faced before. This wasn't just about humanity fighting for its survival. This was about something much older, something ancient that had been waiting for its moment to rise again. In space, the alien fleet advanced. The warships, the weapons, the firepower, they didn't matter anymore. Because the enemy they faced wasn't just alien. It wasn't even just human. It was something older than both. Something that had been waiting in the darkness, lying in silence. And now, the war was no longer just about fighting for the future of humanity. It was about fighting for the future of the galaxy itself. As the alien fleet drew closer, the ground beneath Earth began to shake. The countdown had begun. Humanity had already made its mark in the stars. Now, it was time to see if they could survive what was coming. The Earth trembled with a low, constant hum, like the deep rumblings of a giant waking from a long-forgotten slumber. The alien fleet, now drawing closer, didn't know what they were walking into. For the first time, the tables had turned. It wasn't just humanity fighting for its survival anymore. It was a cosmic battle for control over something ancient, something the aliens didn't fully understand. Reyna Torres stood in the command center, her eyes glued to the screen. She couldn't believe what was happening. The signal was getting stronger. The hum beneath Earth was growing louder, and she knew it wasn't just the planet. It was something buried far beneath the surface, a weapon, a machine, something from the depths of time. The alien fleet paused. They could sense it too. Even in their advanced ships, with their superhuman technology, they couldn't ignore the growing power coming from Earth. The cosmic energy that surged from the planet felt like a pull, a force they could neither control nor avoid. Reyna turned to General Hayes. "They're stopping. They feel it too. They know something's wrong." "We don't have time to wonder about their fear," Hayes said, slamming his fist into the control panel. "We need to get to the surface. Whatever is waking up down there, we need to control it, or we all lose." A bright, unnatural light filled the sky as alien warships shifted into defensive positions. It wasn't just Earth's response they feared now. It was something coming from the very ground itself. "Reyna, what exactly are we dealing with?" Hayes asked, his voice steady but tinged with concern. "I don't know," she replied, shaking her head. "Whatever it is, it's not just some ancient relic. It's alive. Alive in a way we don't understand. It's been here for eons, waiting. And now, it's awake." On the surface of Earth, the ancient facility had fully powered up. Massive steel doors began to lift from the ground, revealing an immense structure that seemed to stretch far beyond what could be seen. It wasn't just a machine. It was a city that had been buried in silence for millennia. Inside the facility, something was moving. Deep within its chambers, ancient mechanisms whirred and shifted, as though they had waited for this exact moment. For the first time in centuries, its systems began to activate, and at the heart of this forgotten place was the source of the signal, the power that had drawn the aliens in. Back in space, the alien fleet had moved into attack formation. Their commanders were quick to make their decision. They would destroy Earth before whatever was rising could fully awaken. But they didn't know what they were up against. In the distance, another light appeared, this one brighter, colder, and sharper than anything the alien ships had ever seen. It wasn't from the sun. It wasn't from any known star. It was something else, something far older and far more dangerous. The first alien ships moved toward Earth, weapons powered up, ready to strike. But as they got closer, their sensors began to malfunction. Communications broke down. Their ships shook with violent tremors, as if the very fabric of space was warping around them. On the surface, Reyna felt the pull of the ancient force in the air, as though the planet itself was alive, breathing with energy. And as if answering the call, the sky above Earth flickered with flashes of brilliant light. Massive beams of energy shot up from the surface toward the fleet. The alien ships tried to maneuver, but it was too late. The energy beams hit them like a thunderclap. The force was beyond anything they had prepared for. Ships crumpled under the assault, metal buckling and cracking as if it were paper. Even their advanced shields couldn't withstand the sheer power of the energy raining down from Earth. The alien commanders screamed orders into their comms, but it was hopeless. The system was failing. Panic spread among their ranks as ships began to disintegrate in midair, the light from Earth swallowing them whole. Reyna and General Hayes watched from the command center, eyes wide in disbelief. "It's working. Whatever is happening down there, it's turning the tide," Hayes said. "But we still don't understand it. What if it's out of control?" Reyna's fingers danced over the control panel, pulling up more data. The ancient machine wasn't just sending energy blasts. It was spreading something else. Some kind of signal was now radiating out into the stars, reaching even farther than the alien fleet could have anticipated. They were about to feel the full effect. "Their ships are getting torn apart," Reyna said in awe. "But that signal, it's going to spread. Whatever this thing is, it's reaching out, calling to everything in its path." The aliens, desperate, began to retreat. But their escape was slow, their ships damaged beyond recognition. The energy from Earth kept them from running. Each ship that tried to break free from the chaos found itself pulled back into the storm of light, trapped in the grip of whatever was awakening beneath the planet's surface. And then, something even worse happened. A deep, terrible rumble came from the heart of Earth. The energy that had been pouring from the surface began to intensify, the ground shaking as though a storm was brewing beneath it. But this wasn't a storm. This was something far worse. The facility was now fully open, its ancient rusted doors revealing a colossal alien-like figure, something that had been waiting for a time just like this. The aliens had no idea what they had unleashed, and now they were fighting not just for Earth's survival, but for their own. The ground beneath Earth rumbled like a massive cosmic heartbeat. The facility, now fully opened, emitted an eerie, otherworldly glow. What had once been a forgotten relic of ancient power had come to life, and with it, a force beyond anything humanity, or the aliens, could comprehend. Reyna Torres and General Hayes stood in the command center, watching the chaos unfold. The alien fleet was in retreat, but the energy pouring from Earth continued to grow stronger, more unpredictable. It wasn't just the destruction of the alien ships that had them on edge. It was what was rising beneath their feet. The ancient machine was awakening, and it was not something they could control. "What is that thing?" General Hayes muttered under his breath, staring at the images flashing across the screen. The massive alien-like figure that had emerged from the depths of the facility stood taller than any ship the aliens had ever seen, a being of unimaginable power. "It's like nothing I've ever seen," Reyna said, her voice shaking with a mix of awe and fear. "I've been going through the data, and it doesn't match anything in our records. It's not just a machine. It's something more." The figure, made of strange metallic alloys that shimmered with an unnatural light, seemed to pulse with life. It had no visible eyes, yet it felt as though it was watching them. Its presence was overwhelming, and the air around it crackled with raw energy. Whatever it wasn't just an ancient weapon. It was a force of nature. On the alien ships, the retreat was in full swing. The surviving fleet scattered, but the pull of Earth's newfound power was relentless. The force from the planet reached out like a massive, invisible hand, dragging the ships back toward the surface. Even the most advanced alien technology couldn't escape its grip. Reyna's fingers flew across the control panel, pulling up real-time data from the alien fleet. "They're trying to leave the system, but the energy from Earth is pulling them in," she said, her voice growing more frantic. "We need to figure out how to stop this before it's too late." General Hayes narrowed his eyes, turning toward the screen. The alien ships were beginning to move erratically. Many of them had been crippled, but even those that were still functional were being caught in the pull of Earth's energy. The aliens had never encountered anything like this before. "This is bad," Hayes said, shaking his head. "They're not retreating anymore. They're being dragged back to Earth. And we don't know what's going to happen when they get there." Reyna paused, staring at the data. She had seen the warnings, the ancient symbols hidden deep in the alien language, but it had never truly clicked until now. She turned to Hayes, her face pale. "The machine. It's not just attacking them. It's drawing them in, like it's preparing to use them. The energy from the alien fleet is feeding it." Hayes stared at her in disbelief. "Feeding it? What do you mean?" Reyna's fingers trembled as she typed in a new sequence. "Whatever this thing is, it was designed to harness energy from any source. The alien fleet is like a power supply. It's using their ships, their technology, and converting it into fuel." The ground beneath them rumbled again, more violently this time. The massive figure from the facility lifted one arm slowly, as if feeling the pulse of the universe itself. And as it did, the skies above Earth flickered with dark energy, the atmosphere trembling with the force of its awakening. "Reyna, we need to get everyone out of here," Hayes said urgently, his eyes scanning the control room. "If this thing is feeding off the alien fleet, it's only a matter of time before it gets strong enough to turn on us." "I know," she replied, her voice tight, "but I don't think we can stop it. Not now." Suddenly, the lights in the command center flickered. A siren blared, signaling an incoming transmission. Reyna hurriedly patched it through. "General Hayes, this is Commander Silva on the Vanguard. We've received strange readings coming from Earth. The alien fleet is no longer responding to communications. They're disappearing. What do you mean disappearing? Hayes demanded. Gone. Like they've been consumed. Whatever's happening down there, it's pulling everything in. And it's not just the alien ships. We're getting energy readings from all over the galaxy. It's as if this thing on Earth is awakening something bigger. Reyna's heart skipped a beat. What if it's not just the alien fleet? What if it's pulling in all of space? That's what I'm afraid of. Silva replied gravely. We need to make a choice. Either we pull back and cut off all communications with Earth, or we risk everything. General Hayes turned toward Reyna. She could see the fear in his eyes. They had no idea what the figure on Earth was capable of. If it was drawing the energy of the entire galaxy to itself, it could change everything. Everything they knew about power, the universe, and the future. We can't abandon Earth, Hayes said firmly. We have to fight this thing. We have to find a way to stop it before it consumes everything. Reyna nodded, her mind racing. The pieces were falling into place. The aliens had underestimated humanity. They thought they had conquered the galaxy. But now, humanity had something far older and far more dangerous on their side. As the command center shook again, the massive figure on Earth lifted both arms high into the sky. The energy from the alien fleet had merged with Earth's power, and now it was ready. And just like that, the universe itself held its breath.